What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to some more videos, and I'm here bringing you another video in my character tutorial series for Blazblue Cross Tag Battle. Last time we took a look at Ruby Rose, so if you guys missed that, I'll link that in the description down below. Be sure to check it out, and I'll be creating a playlist for all the characters that I'm going to be doing, and you guys can easily refer to that playlist if you guys ever want to look up other videos. Today I thought it'd be appropriate to take a look at the other Ruby character in the demo build, Weiss. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you for the overwhelming positive feedback that the previous guide got, and I'll be taking in some comments into consideration so I can further improve the guide series. With that being said, there were a lot of people that were giving me a lot of characters to look at and to make guides for, but don't worry, I'll be getting around to all of them, but I wanted to know who you guys wanted to see next. I'll be creating character guides per franchise, not really per character, so I wanted to see which franchise I wanted to tackle next. I did the Ruby one for the base 20. Now let's see what the other franchises are gonna be. So the best way to go about this is to do a poll type of thing. So what I'm gonna be doing is in the comment section down below, I'm going to be commenting three things. I'm gonna be commenting Uniel, Persona 4 Arena, and Blazblue, and you guys, all you have to do is go down in the comment section down below where I did comment and just leave a thumbs up for whichever franchise you would like to see next, and then whichever one gets the most thumbs up, that's the franchise that I'll be tackling next for this guide series. So I think that's one of the best ways for you guys to tell me which characters you guys would like to see next. And of course, I'll be doing the second one after that franchise, and I'll be doing the last franchise, at the very end. Nonetheless, I'll be getting around to all of them. I'm trying to get these out before the actual game releases on June 5th. So hopefully I'll be able to get all of these out in time. And as always, I'll be using the numpad notation system today. And if you guys aren't completely aware as to what the numpad notation system is, I'll be linking a guide in the description down below. Go study up, learn about it, come back over here. You're going to have a great time. All right, guys, without further ado, let's get into the guide for Weiss Schnee.
Are you ready? Be sure to follow the plan. Roger that! Crap. What was the plan again? How dull.
All right, and just like with every single one of these character guides / tutorials, we're going to be going over everything with the character, the normals, the smart combos, the special moves, distortions, pros, cons, synergy, assist, everything we're going to be going over in this video and telling you guys how to utilize them or the most effective way to use them in a match. So first of all, let's get started off with the assists with the character. So let's I have Makoto here on lockdown, and we're going to get started with her back assist. Her back assist is very similar to Ruby's. It's a kind of an uppercut move where it launches them straight up in the air. It doesn't have too much range, but it does send them straight up in the air, so it's mostly used for combo extenders, and I don't see you using this move too often other than if you're in the corner or if you want to do an active switch, because they fly up straight up in the air and you got plenty of time to active switch and switch into Weiss. So that's her back assist. Her neutral assist is probably her best assist, which is her dash strike, which is this move right here. It does have a fair bit amount of range. It's not as good as Ruby's, and it doesn't prop them up in the air. It goes for a wall bounce instead, which is actually really, really good. And it does it like a little animation before they hit the wall. So it gives you plenty of time to run up and continue the combo. Just once again, so you guys can see it. It doesn't have the biggest of range, but it does have a good, decent amount. There we go. So it's really good for extending combos. I think this is probably her best assist, of course. And her forward assist is her fireball assist or her ice shard. And her ice shard really isn't super good. I do like how it tracks, but it's not fast. It has a little bit of startup, of course, and that's about it. It's really good for, approaching and such. It's not the best fireball like I was saying, but it does the job right. So if you ever want to sit full screen, call out Weiss and fill up your diamonds, that's probably the best way. I think using your projectile assists with your assist characters are the best ways to fill up your diamonds so you can get level 4 resonance blaze, because you need that level 4 resonance blaze, let me tell you. So if you want, you can just run up and just do some crazy shenanigans and leave Weiss behind so she doesn't get hit, and the full assist comes out for you to fill up those diamonds or for you to cover your approach. So not too bad. Her assists are pretty subpar, but they get the job done. All right, so let's move on to Weiss's normals and air normals, and this is probably one of her biggest strengths right here. So let's start off with 5A. 5A is just this button right here, and it's probably one of her best buttons, of course, because you can really utilize this in the neutral and just poke them out and harass them like crazy. It's not the best for converting because the 5A into the 5AA, the 5AA is really short compared to the 5A, so you can't really convert as well. So you would have to do stuff like 5A and 2C. But anyways, her 5A is really good for harassing. You know, that she can really enter your bubble and your comfort zone, and she can really violate it with that button. It's really good for just annoying the crap out of your opponents. Next up we have is 4A, and 4A is like a lesser ranged but faster 5A. It's not necessarily that good. I would much rather just use 5A in any situation, but for this it's a lot quicker, so if the situation calls for it, you can try using 4A to get out of a situation, mash out maybe. But if you do want to mash out, you would use 2A. 2A is her really good low, has some really decent range, and it's really good for stagger pressuring and poking them and just kind of like poking at them to see if they will budge and press a button for you to convert off of that. So 2A is really good too. I'm really glad that they gave her one of these as well because it really adds to her pressure game. Next up we have 5B, and 5B is actually her anti-air, and the reason why I say that is because she has head invincibility from this move right here. That's right. It's really strange. Normally they do it for moves like 2B, but her 2B is actually a low poke. So her anti-air got moved to 5B, which is super strange. I don't know why they did that. It is pretty subpar, to be honest. It doesn't have the best of range either. It's a good like kind of a slashing tool for good damage, like a punisher. So if you want to punish with Weiss, like punish a DP with Weiss, you can definitely use 5B, the 5B auto combo. But for the most part, this is her anti-air, and it's not the best. It's really not as good as like Ruby's per se. But it does get the job done. It does have an invincibility, and it can anti-air. So just to let you guys know about that move. And of course, like I was saying, her 2B is a low poke. It's really good. Got really good range. Like, holy crap. Super good. So if you like combine this with like her 5A, you can really just annoy the crap out of your opponent. So 2B, extremely good. 5B, it's okay. All right, moving on to the air normals, we have JA, and JA is really good for air-to-air confrontations, like more so than Ruby's JA, and it's just pokes them straight horizontally. It's really good for like just harassing them in the corner as well. Like if you have them in the corner and they try to jump out, you can just completely box them in, and there's nothing they can really do about it. So that move is really good for that specific purpose. Other than that, it's not necessarily the best of jump-ins. If you want to do a jump-in on the opponent, you want to use JB. And JB has, you know, a vertical like angle downward, so it's really good for jumping in and for opening up the opponent and maybe going for some more pressure. And this is more, and the JA is most for like boxing them out, going for air to airs, trying to catch them out of the air. It's like, oh, get out of the air. And this is more for like jump-ins if you want to go for more pressure or just straight up try to catch him with a jump-in overhead. So JB and JA are actually both extremely good in their own fields. All right, so moving on to Weiss's C buttons. She has her 5C, of course, which is if you watch the previous guide, then you know that the Ruby characters have these jumping overheads, and that's goes the same with the Under Night and Birth characters compared to their Blazblue and Persona counterparts that have a more standing, grounded overhead that's faster, but they are punishable on block. That means that you can hit them if you end up blocking their overhead. But the Ruby and the Under Night and Birth characters, they are not punishable, so you cannot hit them when you block this button right here. But they are at a frame disadvantage, which means it's your turn to pressure. It's your time to press buttons against them. So it is slower, but it is safe on block. And the Blazblue and Persona characters are not safe, but way faster. So with that being said, it has some pretty good range as well. I think it's really good. It's not too bad. And then of course, like that's her overhead. Everybody has one, of course. And then next up is her JC. And her JC is not as good as Ruby's. Ruby's probably has the better of the two. Oh yeah, I think actually she does have the better of the two. Weiss's really is not utilized like Ruby's is. Ruby's has a blast going downward, so she has a hitbox going down, so you can use it as an instant overhead in a way. Weiss doesn't have that privilege, unfortunately. Like if you try to hit them while they're crouching, she cannot hit them. And the reason why is because her JC, she kind of jumps in the air a little bit higher than Ruby. And Ruby kind of stays a little bit lower to the ground, but Weiss for some reason kind of jumps in the air a lot higher than Ruby when she does her JC. So with that being said, you can't really use this as a jumping overhead or an instant overhead similar to Ruby's, but it does serve its purposes by doing air combos. So for example, if you do an air combo with Weiss and you end it off with JC, you can do a falling what's that move called again? I forget again. Snowfall, I'm sorry. And then of course there's her 2C, and her 2C is one of her best moves, I think, because it has so much range. I mean, look at the actual range on that. Now when the oh, that was a mistake, by the way. When the character was first shown off, I really thought that this was gonna go like almost like half screen, but they kind of toned it down from what they showed us in the actual magazines or in the Famitsu screenshots or the actual trailer that they showcased Weiss. Like I thought this was going to be a ridiculous sweep, and it is still a ridiculous sweep. It's really good, but it's not as large as I thought it was gonna be, but it is a very strong sweep. It reminds me of a better version of Jin's sweep. It's really good. So that's her 2C. Alright, so let's move on to her smart combos, and her smart combos are actually very decent, even though they do suffer from a big con in my opinion. So her A smart combo is this one right here. It does 41 damage, actually more damage than average, more damage than Ruby's at least. And her 5B or her B auto smart combo is this launching move, and that's it. It's just double hitting, no more than 2. So the reason why I say it's very inconsistent is because sometimes when you try to space your 5A, or if you try to space your 5B, the second hit of the smart combo will whiff. And that makes it very frustrating, because if you try to get the confirm and you end up missing because the second hit of the smart combo whiffs, it's all for kind of nothing. So she has a really good poking game. However, her conversion game off of her smart combos is very poor. So for example, if you try to convert from this range right here, as you can see, the second hit of her smart combo kind of whiffs. So she really suffers from an inconsistent smart combo move set. It's the same thing with her 5B. So her 5B, if you do it up close, it launches, so you can do whatever combo you want really in the air. So that's really good, of course. But however, it suffers from the same thing as the A smart combo, which means that if you try to convert from a certain range, it will whiff like that. So she suffers from the first hit of the smart combo has some really decent range, has really decent hitbox as well, but the second hit, when you try to convert it, has a very poor ranged hitbox, or very poor range. So that makes it hard to convert off of her pokes. So which is kind of like counterintuitive to make a character that has really good pokes but with no conversions off of those. You have to really be on your toes and be very attentive on your spacing to be able to convert off of like that. You know, even like her 2B sometimes whiffs because her 5A is so large. So it's probably one of her largest, and they get pushed away mostly because of the first hit pushing back a lot farther than usual. That's probably the biggest reason. It's because of the pushback, because of course 5A is really good, but it does push them back quite a bit. So if you do the second hit of the smart combo, it is gonna whiff. So that's one of the things. But anyways, nonetheless, her smart combos are actually really decent when you actually get them off. Her 5A smart combos has really good, decent damage, and you can convert into her dash strike, and we'll go over the dash strike in just a minute. But it's really good. I actually quite like it. And of course her launching one. I think all characters should have a launching smart combo, but hers is really decent as well. And of course it is an anti-air, so if they end up like jumping up in the air, you can convert off of the 5B smart combo. Next up, we're going to be talking about Weiss's special moves, and she has a really good arsenal of special moves. This is another one of her very strong fields, and this is what sort of kind of makes her a technical character. So with her, let's start off with her projectile. Her projectile is her Ice Shard, which is quarter circle forward, or 236. So, and that's her A version. There's quarter circle forward A, B, or C. So that's her light version, and it does have a reasonable amount of recovery, so it's not very recommended to be able to zone with this thing, because especially if your opponent has a better zoner or a better projectile than Weiss's, because hers takes a while for it to come out. The only reason why it's actually very decent is because it tracks your opponent's position before it comes out. Once it kind of tracks your enemy's position, then it comes out in that direction. So there's that one. There's the B version that goes a little bit higher up, and the one that it goes a little bit higher up, the B version, is a little bit better than the grounded version because it's straight up into the sky, which means that it can like point downwards, and has a lot better time tracking down where your opponent is and throwing a projectile in that direction. So there's that one, and there's of course the best one of the three is her EX Ice Shard, which is incredibly good. It's the one where she summons two of them from behind the opponent, and it's super good because it does a lot of damage because it's two icicles, and it's really hard for the opponent to escape from here. Like I said, they still track, so even though they're jumping up in the air, these icicles will still hit them from behind the opponent, so it's a little bit harder to escape. It is escapable, but it's a lot harder than the regular versions. So if you catch your opponent off guard, you can really make them hurt with this, because it does do quite a bit of damage as well. I mean, look at that damage. It's a really good projectile. So, and that's pretty much it for her projectiles. Now, with these projectiles, they have a little bit of a quirk to them. With these projectiles, you can also hold down the button when you're doing the 236 motion, and you can create a black glyph. And this is what a lot of people are probably wondering of how to use, and I'm about to show you right now. But before we go into the black glyphs, let me show you the dash strike, which is this right here, which is 214 or quarter circle back, A, B, or C. It is the lunging attack that she has, and they all knock down. So that is her A version, which is very quick, so you can do like for combos after sweep, just like that. It's pretty decent. And also there's her B variant, which is has a little bit more startup, but it does do more damage and leaves them up in the sky. Like for example, there we go. It does a little bit of a follow-up afterwards. And then the EX version, does the most damage by doing a flurry of attacks. It does a reasonable amount of damage, and it's really quick as well. And also, by the way, all of these lunges can be canceled by holding down the button. All of them. So there's the A version, the B version, they all can be canceled, and then the C version cannot be canceled, however. Only the regular version, the non-EX versions of these moves can be canceled. So like for example, you do like that, you can kind of pressure with that and psych them out, fake them out with the fake out or the lunge cancel. So anyways, we were talking about the black glyphs before. What do these black glyphs do with Weiss? All right, so once you execute a dash strike, so this move right here, so once the black glyph is out in effect, you can do, like I said, the lunging move into any of those motions, up in A, up in B, up in C, to do a follow-up attack or completely fake out your lunge attack and go for any of these follow-up attacks. So let me show you right here. This is the A version, which is called what is it called again? It's called twisting air step, which is kind of like a ballerina motion. There is let me show you the other one, which is the piercing air step right there, and she just bounces off from the other side of the screen over to pierce you, of course. And there's also the pirouette, which is probably her best one in my opinion, because it extends combos and it's actually very strong. So just like that, that's the pirouette. So, and you can do these at any given moment when you're near a black glyph, and this also applies to the ones in the air. So in the air, you can jump up in the air and you can do any single one of these by doing one of these, the air special moves, which we're about to talk about right now, which is the snowfall. Snowfall is this move right here. It's like kind of like a diving special attack. It's not as good as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a very good priority dive kick, similar to maybe like characters like Yun or like Cammy or Rufus from the Street Fighter franchise, or anybody that has a really good dive kick move that can kind of approach, or you can close off the space between yourself and the opponent. You can't really use it like that if you want to. If you want to use it like that, go right ahead. It's not really used for that. It's mostly used for combo extensions and for combo enders. But for the most part, it's not as good an approaching tool as Ruby's, because it's a single strike and they can anti-air you straight up from this move. So it's not completely recommended to use in the neutral. However, like I was saying, the black glyphs, with that being said, you can use the air special move, the snowfall move, to do the exact same thing. As soon as you execute the snowfall, you just press up and A, up and B, up and C, or whichever, to do whichever one. There's the piercing one. Let me see if I can get the other ones. Whoopsies. There's the pirouette. And then there's the twisting air step. So all of these can be performed and they can be executed with crazy stuff. And this was what kind of makes Weiss probably the most technical character in this game, because you have to correctly utilize her black glyphs for whatever given situation you may have. So the most technical things that I found with these black glyphs, of course, is whenever you go to sweep your opponent, or if you go to end the combo, I like to end it off with a sweep into a black glyph, and from here on out you can use your auto combo. And while they're blocking, let me actually have Yukiko blocking here, which means she's blocking there. So whenever you have a black glyph here and they're blocking, you can actually do the lunging and up and A to cross up. That is a cross up overhead move, and you can convert off of these with an assist, just like that. So anyways, so those are one of the applications. The pirouette can be used for combos, and I'll be showing that off in the combo section of this guide. But for the most part, the black glyphs really is what make a really technical character. So if you want to go ahead and experiment with each one of these black glyphs, they can be used for combos, for extensions, for fake outs, for all sorts of stuff. And I think this is what really is going to make Weiss a very unique compared to the other characters, because there's really not a setup character similar to Weiss that can make her just super shenanigans, basically. So experiment with all these and let me know what you guys think of the black glyphs. The very last special move that she has is a very unique one as well. Not a lot of characters have a 2-2 motion or a down-down motion. So 2-2A, 2-2B, or 2-2C. She's one of the only ones alongside, I can't name off the top of my head, I can't remember. But I do know there's some other characters that have a 2-2A or a down-down motion special move. So she has this thing called the Ice Wall, or I think it's called Ice Tower. I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically you building a wall of ice in front of them, and it's physically there, which means that if you go and you use this ice pillar, there you go, she just said it, thank you, Weiss. So ice pillar is used as a corner, so like that. It's basically you can create your own corner, or you can create your own wall. Either or, it's very useful. I haven't seen this move done too much when the beta was going on, and that's probably because they haven't experimented with it. But I was experimenting with it myself, and I found the most utilization with the ice pillar as a anti-projectile thing. So for example, Yukiko is a zoner, so if she starts throwing fans at me left and right, just like that, I'm pretty sure you've seen all sorts of Yukikos, start throwing fans left and right. So what you do is you put up an ice pillar, and you can kind of use it as a wall to set up whatever you need to set up. For example, like in the Fireball War with Weiss, you can do an Ice Shard, of course, but it takes too much time. So if you do like Ice Shard, you can get blown up by characters like Yukiko. But if you set up an Ice Pillar, it kind of benefits you to do that, because it gives you time to set up a projectile or set up an assist for you to go in and approach, because that's one of Weiss's weaknesses, is approaching in this game, or trying to get in on people like zoners or people that have long range. So it kind of really benefits her in that aspect. So there is the 2-2A, which is like a small pillar there, and then there's the 2-2B, which is a lot bigger. Like, holy crap, a lot bigger. And of course you can use this as a corner, so you can do stuff like that. It's kind of cool. Right now, not a lot of people have discovered anything with the ice pillar, but I have a feeling that there's going to be some really cool stuff in the future with the ice pillar, because you can essentially create your own corner. So I'm excited to what other people can do with the ice pillar. Now, there's also the 22C, the EX version, but it's not an ice pillar. It's a parry. So she does have a parry in this game, and you can combo off of it. So let's try and do it right here. It does cost meter. Let me see if I can try and execute this here. There it is right there. That's the parry right there. She can combo off of this, so let me try and combo right here. It is 2-2C, down, down, C. I'm trying to. It's because this is not a proper training mode, so I can't really get too much stuff, but you can combo off of it. I can't properly show it off right now because of the lack of training mode, but you can combo off of it. We just have to experiment a lot with it. It's not the best because it doesn't work against projectiles, which is strange. It does, by the way, reflect projectiles, so if anybody tries to do a projectile, I'm wondering what happens if you do Zeodyne against that parry.
Not so easy.
Last but not least, for the special move, she has her DP, or her reversal, which is really, 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 really good. It's actually one of the best DPs in my opinion because it hits on both sides, in front of her and behind her. It does lack in the vertical range. It's not as effective as a reversal like Hyde's, or like Ragna's, or like Narukami's, or anybody's like that, but it's similar to Ruby's that hits both sides. It's really, really good. You can just go from behind. They can jump behind you, and you can still get hit, just like let's see if I can, just like that. It is air unblockable, just like all reversals are. It's really strong. So, and not only that, but on any combo, it knocks down. It gives you a hard knockdown, which means that they have to touch the floor to be able to break out of the combo. But at the same time, that Weiss cannot do anything else after she does that reversal. So it's really good. I really like her DP. Or reversal. Next up, we have her distortions, and she has a pretty good set of distortions actually. She has Glacial Torrent and Snow Flurry, and I think Glacial Torrent is her best one, which is her quarter circle forward, B and C. And this is, I like to call it the anti-assist distortion. It's really good. As soon as you hear your opponent call in an assist, you can just let this distortion rip because it goes full screen and it can hit anywhere that anything that's on the ground. So for example, let's actually showcase it off right here. Call in an assist, you do this distortion, and look at all that damage. Of course, I already lowered Chia's health before, so that's not completely all of it, but you can go back in the video and kind of measure how much damage it does to your assist. It's really strong, especially when it's in Resonance Blaze, because it does an extra hit at the end. It's really cool and very awesomely animated, so that's a really good assist in my opinion. And there is her, of course, her other her other distortion, which is Snow Flurry, which is quarter circle back, or 214 B and C, and that is this one right here. And it's kind of like an anti-projectile super, but the thing is with that super is that it doesn't go necessarily full screen. Like, it stops about like, it's about like the size of right here, because if you go full screen, you'll literally stop dead in her tracks and you will not hit her. So it's good to do it around this range. I'll showcase off both cases, but this is the distortion right here. And it's that one right there, and it's used to go through projectiles. But like I said, if it actually gets through, so like, let's actually do this. Let's build up our, let's kill Chia here. Weirdly, weird to say that, huh? But anyways, so if Yukiko tries to throw a projectile from this range, and I try to do it, she just stops dead in her tracks. So it doesn't really necessarily go full screen, which I think is very silly, because it should go full screen at least. You know what I mean? Because she just stops right there. Why? Anyways, so that's beside the point. So those are her distortions. Last but not least, let's talk about her astral. Her astral is called White Knight. It's really good. Of course, you need Resonance Blaze level 4, which means that you have to have all the 4 diamonds filled up, and you have to have 9 meters. And the only way to get 9 meters is for you to have level 4 Resonance Blaze. So let's activate this right here, and it'll start filling up slowly but surely, of course. And then once it gets to 9 meters, that's when you can do down, 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 B and C, which is her astral.
That you're slacking.
All right, now that we talked about pretty much everything about the character, let's talk about the pros and the cons about this character, just to kind of summarize everything that we've been through. So, because this character does have a lot of good things about her, there's also some really bad things or some weaknesses that she does have. So, first of all, the pros, of course. Let's talk about how she has incredible pokes, as I was saying earlier. Like, she has her 5A, which really invades personal privacy. You can really pop their own personal bubble by just getting in the vicinity of their range. You know, you just poke at them, and that'll really frustrate them to start taking like unnecessary actions. So 5A is an incredible poking tool. I suggest you do it a lot. Same thing with 2B. 2B is super good, and her sweep as well. Her sweep is one of the best ones in the game, in my opinion. So very good poking tools. Alongside that, she has an incredible reversal, or a DP, as we like to call it in fighting game slang. But her reversal is incredibly good. It completely surrounds her with a invincible hitbox from behind her and in front of her. So if anybody tries to cross you up or tries to jump over you, you can straight up just do a reversal. It's super strong. And not only that, but it knocks down as well if you use it in the middle of a combo. So you can set up your set play. And speaking of set play, this character has one of the best set plays in the game, in my opinion, utilizing her black glyphs. With doing some crazy shenanigans like, you know, instant cross-ups, just like that, overhead cross-ups. You can also do some crazy things like some fake-outs. You can set up as many black glyphs. You know what I mean? It gets nuts. You can do like, you can even do like some crazy shenanigans like that. You can just completely cross them up in the air instead of just going straight down. With Snowfall, you can just cross them up with an assist. She has some crazy weird shenanigans and some set play once black glyphs are involved. So black glyphs are really, really good. It just takes a little bit of labbing time and just a little bit of time with the character to be able to utilize them to their greatest effect. So with that, she also has, like I said, we were talking about earlier, an incredible assist killing distortion, which you call it, you just do a distortion and you do a bunch of damage to your assist or your opponent's assist. It's very good. Of course, I already took damage off of, or I already took life off of Chia's health bar, so it doesn't do that much damage, but you get the idea. It does as soon as you hear or see the opponent's assist, just let it rip. Don't be afraid to just utilize it if you have the meter. Use your resources as best as you can. That includes using your distortions, because distortions and supers in this game are incredibly, incredibly good. With that being said, she also has incredible damage as well, just by herself. And when you include assists, you can start including black glyphs in your combos, which can give you some real nice damage and some good set play. So I'll just do a combo here just by herself. Just like that, 5.5, some really good, decent damage to you, to the opponent. And if you include black glyphs, it's even better. So, because black glyphs can extend combos, I'll show you right now, actually, how to extend, not that one. Let's do just the regular high, just like that. Just like this, like, just by herself, she does some really good damage with some of the stuff. It's similar to Ruby, but she hits a lot harder with less hits. So she's really good in that aspect. She has some really good damage. And but with every pro, there is a con, of course. This character does get zoned extremely easy, especially by characters like New 13, and also gets outspaced a lot as well, like with Gordeau and with Waldstein, because both of those characters have incredible reach, and especially Waldstein that can completely run her over with his crazy grabs. Now, the only thing with the only difference with Gord and Waldstein is that Waldstein has to get in on Weiss, and with the right assist, she can really zone him out. But with Gordeau in particular, that's kind of a bad matchup for her, because with Gordeau, he has the big old scythe, he has Grim Reaper, he can completely harass her with his crazy range. So the only way to really deal with Gordeau is to, as soon as he slams down the 5B or the big old scythe, you just reversal it, because it does have a hurt box and completely nullifies the 5B from Gordeau. So she gets outspaced really easily. She gets outzoned really easily, especially with her not having a projectile that is fast enough to compete with other projectiles in the game, like New 13s, like S's, like anybody else, like Rubies as well. So because her projectiles have quite a bit of startup, so she gets zoned out and she gets ranged out very easily. She has inconsistent conversions with her auto combos, like I was saying before. Like this being a thing, like her second hit whiffing is really bad on her. I mean, you can definitely make it work, but you have to be extremely attentive to your spacing and where you are on the screen, so you can consistently get the second hit of the auto combo, so you can get a conversion and a combo and some damage. So her inconsistent conversions can be kind of a pain, and it could really mess you up, and especially if you get the hit, you get the damage, and you can't convert properly because of spacing. Another thing as well is that her anti-air I think is terrible, even though it is an anti-air, so it's whatever. Now let's take a look at some team synergy, some characters that go well with Weiss and that can really complement her well. So she does require a little bit of work, so there's some characters that can really help her out, continue pressure, and to cover her approach. Makoto's really good for continuing pressure and for really good combo extensions. That's what Makoto's really good for. So I think Makoto's really good with Weiss, and Makoto's really good. I'm sorry, Weiss is really good with Makoto, and Makoto's really good with Weiss. They very much complement each other extremely well in terms of combo conversions, and Weiss can kind of cover Makoto's approach as well. So Weiss is really good with Makoto. You can do some crazy combos and continue pressure. You can do stuff like that, like because she has infinite rush as an assist, and that can really continue on pressure. Just like that. Yeah, so it's really, really good, Infinite Rush, as a just a continuing pressure type of thing. Now there's also like the combos, and she can get some really cool combos with her black glyphs with Makoto, like for example stuff like that. You can get all that stuff from Makoto, and I'll show you more from the in the combo section of the video, but I think Makoto does really well, complements her quite a bit. Next up, let's move along to S. S is an extremely good partner for Weiss. She really compensates for the approaching tool, or for the zoning that Weiss is really lacking. She covers her approach with the projectile assist, like I was saying before. Like S is just an extremely good support character. So with her projectile assist, of course, and her combo extensions really complement Weiss. You've probably seen many people run the S Weiss team just because it's really, really strong. Like with the I messed up the combo there, but with the combo extensions and the approaching tools, of course, you're going to see this team quite a bit. And this team has a lot of synergy with combos as well. Like there's a lot of stuff that you can do with Weiss and S. You can never go wrong with having S as your assist character with Weiss. Narukami is also an incredibly good partner for Weiss, because he really complements her combo game extremely well by doing some specific combos that do quite a bit of damage and can set up some set play for her, and he can also kind of extend the pressure with Narukami with his forward assist. That's not his forward assist, it's this one. And you can completely like cross them up, do some shenanigans. That was a cross up, by the way, because I'm on the other side now. But for the most part, you get what I mean. Like, you can do some crazy stuff with Narukami as well. And you can also do his neutral assist for combo extensions and just anything in general. Like, that's probably his best assist. Just like that. So it's really good. I think Narukami complements her extremely well. Like I said, with the combo game. You can do some more specific combos I'll show off in at the end of the video with the combo portion, but for the most part, you get what I mean. Narukami does wonders with Weiss. The last character that I'm going to be talking about is, of course, New 13, and New 13 I think does really well with Weiss because she has a very interesting and unique approaching game with as New 13. So with New 13, she has her front assist, and with her front assist, you can kind of combine it with the ice wall to kind of protect New 13, of course. And she also has her gravity seed, which kind of sets up some weird, crazy combos with Weiss, specifically with Weiss with her black glyphs. It's kind of impractical, but it's super cool, and who knows, maybe it will become practical when the game officially comes out. She also has a really good like projectile, which is that right there. It goes full screen. You can extend combos, and you can also approach as well. It doesn't go full screen, I'm sorry, but it does like do some crazy, you can do some crazy combos with it, like this right here. Yeah, you get the point. I dropped the combo yet again because I'm under pressure because you guys have eyes on me. But anyways, she has a very unique like move set or like tool set with Weiss, in my opinion. I think this team has a lot of synergy. I've seen wonders done with this team as well, especially with New 13 with Weiss, because she has the zoning and she can also set up some teleport shenanigans similar to how Ruby can with Weiss, with Weiss's assists. So I think these two characters go really well, mishmash together extremely well. And with that being said, don't let me be the one to tell you that these characters are better than other characters in the roster. You guys can experiment with whatever character that you guys would like. Just these are 4 characters that I've seen do really well with Weiss. That doesn't mean that I haven't seen other characters do really well with Weiss. I think there's other characters like Ruby and like Yukiko that can do really well. Like with the Yukiko and Weiss, you can set up like wall, and then you can do Yukiko heal assist, and you can do some crazy stuff like that. Like there's a bunch of other synergy things. Don't let me be the one to stop you from picking other characters other than these 4 characters. I'm just saying that these are 4 characters that go really well with her as at the time being, you know. So anyways, go out and experiment with your assist characters or your support characters. Let me know who you guys are using with Weiss.
How dull.
All right, that about wraps up everything that has to do with Weiss. Just to give off some closing remarks on the character, I think the character is extremely good. Not as good as Ruby though, because Ruby, just everything she does is just incredible. Everything, they gave everything that Ruby does like purpose for some reason. Like everything is super good with that character. Weiss needs a little bit more love. You need to go out and get to know her a little bit. It's like, oh, okay, you can do this combo. All right. So you have to really lab out a little bit with Weiss to be able to use her effectively to her best abilities. So Weiss does require a little bit of work, but it's worth it in the end. I think this character is going to be extremely fun and extremely good. If you are thinking about picking up Weiss, Weiss is definitely for you. If you like characters that have set play, I think her black glyphs are unexplored and have a ton of hidden potential that could really just make her extremely good. And you like Weiss if you don't mind a little bit of setup for your next sequence. So you like give up a sequence to be able to set up for the next one, whether it be a cross-up overhead or it be some more damage or anything like that. You don't mind playing characters like that. So Weiss is incredibly fun. I think she's one of my favorite characters to play in this game. I run her on my team, or on one of my teams, I should say. But I think she's incredibly good and she's awesome. So if you guys are picking her up, good luck with that because she is incredibly fun. I do not blame you if you want to play this character over Ruby because there's Rubies everywhere. All right, that about does it for me today, guys. Thank you all for watching the video. If you guys did learn something new about Weiss, give the video a thumbs up. If you guys do want to learn something new, or if you guys want me to add anything in particular to these guides, let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys are thinking of picking up Weiss, let me know. Also, subscribe to the channel if you guys want to see more BB Tag content or BB Tag guides. And follow me on Twitter if you guys want to see anything on me or the channel. I'm going to be doing the combo section right now, guys. Enjoy the combos. I'm going to be putting notations on there. Enjoy the combos, guys.